By the time you make equity partner, you will have billed more hours than most people work in 3 lifetimes. The count starts before you pass the bar, before you start law school. It starts the moment you decide this is the path, and everything after that decision is the price of the one before it. Level 1, pre-law. You're 21. You have a political science degree and a conviction that law is the right path that is approximately 70% certainty and 30% the absence of a better idea. You have registered for the LSAT. The LSAT is a 5-section test that measures logical reasoning, analytical thinking, and reading comprehension. It does not measure how good a lawyer you will become. It measures how well you take the LSAT. You will spend 4 months learning the difference between those two things. The prep course costs $1,800. You do it anyway. You take 3 practice tests per week. Your diagnostic score is 158. Your target is 172. The gap between those two numbers is approximately 400 hours of study time and 1 complete restructuring of how you read an argument and identify its assumption. You restructure, you take the real test, you score 169. It is not 172. It is enough. The application goes to 14 schools. You are admitted to 4. The one you choose has a sticker price of $68,000 per year. Tuition, fees, living expenses, 3 years. The total cost before interest is $204,000. You sign the loan documents on a Tuesday afternoon. The signing takes 11 minutes. You do not read every page. Nobody reads every page. You understand enough to know the number, and not enough to fully picture what the number means when it starts moving. You have not yet billed a single hour. The clock is already running. Level 2, 1L, you're 22. Orientation is 3 days. On the first day, the dean tells the incoming class that law school will change the way you think. This is accurate and not a metaphor, and you will not fully understand it until you are on the other side of it trying to have a normal conversation at Thanksgiving and finding that every sentence your family says generates an involuntary list of its unstated assumptions. The Socratic method is the primary teaching format in your first year. It means the professor calls on you without warning and asks you to state the facts of the case, then the holding, then the reasoning, then a hypothetical variation, then another. Each one designed to find the edge of your analysis and push past it in front of 89 other people who are all quietly relieved they were not called on and quietly taking notes on your answer. You are called on in contracts on your 3rd day. The case is Carlil versus Carbolic Smokeball Company. You know it. You handle it. You sit back down. Your hands are not shaking. They were shaking. The curve is mandatory. Your law school grades on a forced curve that produces a predetermined distribution of A's, B's, and C's, regardless of how well the class performs in aggregate. This means your grade is not a measure of how well you understood the material. It is a measure of how well you understood it relative to the 89 other people who also studied for 60 hours and are also trying to land in the top 15%. You study 60 hours. You land in the top 22%. You are not on law review. The write-on competition runs in January. It is a 40-hour open research assignment completed over a single weekend that gives students who did not grade onto law review a second chance to earn a position through writing quality. You do the write-on. You make law review on the 2nd round. Law review means you spend 20 hours per week editing other people's legal scholarship in addition to your coursework in exchange for a credential that big law firms use as a filter before they read the rest of your resume. Your first-year loans are $68,000. The interest rate is 7.05%. It began accruing on the day the funds were dispersed. You are aware of this. You have decided to understand it fully after graduation. This is the correct decision for your mental health and the incorrect decision for your financial planning, and both of those things are true simultaneously. You are ranked in the top quarter of your class at one of the best law schools in the country. You have not yet done anything a lawyer does. Level 3, 2L, Summer Associate. The on-campus interview process happens in August of your 2nd year. It is a single week in which every major law firm in the country sends recruiters to top law schools to conduct 20-minute screening interviews with 2nd-year students who are competing for summer associate positions that pay $4,150 per week and function as the primary pipeline into big law full-time offers. You're 23. You have 12 OCI interviews in 2 days. You wear the same suit to all 12. You have prepared an answer for every standard question. Why law, why litigation versus transactional? A time you demonstrated leadership, a time you handled conflict. You give the answers without sounding like you prepared the answers. This is the skill the 20-minute interview is actually testing. You are good at it. You receive 4 callback interviews. You receive 2 offers. You accept Sullivan and Cromwell. The Summer Associate program is 10 weeks. Your official title is Summer Associate. Your actual function is auditionee. Every assignment, every client dinner, every Friday afternoon social event is a data point in an evaluation that will determine whether you receive a full-time offer at the end of the summer. The evaluation criteria are never formally stated. You infer them from context and from the second-year associates who take you to lunch and tell you, in carefully qualified language, what actually matters. What actually matters is being easy to work with, turning work around quickly, and never making a partner feel like they have to explain something twice. The legal work itself, the research memos, the contract markups, the due diligence binders, is secondary to those 3 things. You understand this by week 3. You spend weeks 4 through 10 being easy to work with, turning work around quickly, and asking clarifying questions before a partner has to explain something twice. You receive the offer on the last Friday of the program. Base salary, $225,000. You call your parents. Your mother asks if that's per month. It isn't. It's per year. It is still the largest number anyone in your family has been offered for anything. Your total law school debt at graduation will be $218,000. The starting salary is $225,000. On paper, those 2 numbers almost cancel each other out in the first year. The paper is not accounting for taxes, New York rent, bar prep costs, or the interest that has been compounding for 3 years while you were on law review editing footnotes at midnight. You have an offer. You have debt. You have no idea what $225,000 actually feels like to earn yet. You are about to find out. Level 4, first year associate. You're 24. Your base is $225,000. You will not see what that number feels like because New York takes 12% before you see anything. Rent takes $3,200 per month, and your loan payment takes $1,800. What remains is comfortable. What remains is also less than you calculated when you accepted the offer, which is a calculation error everyone makes and nobody warns you about. The billing target is 2,000 hours per year. That is the floor. The associates who make bonus bill 2,200. You divide 2,200 by 52 weeks. You arrive at 42.3 billable hours per week. Billable hours are not the same as hours worked. Billable hours are the hours a client will pay for. Travel time, administrative tasks, training, these are worked hours that do not count. To bill 42 hours, you work approximately 55. Your first year is document review, research memos, and due diligence. You are 24 years old with $218,000 in debt and a law degree from a top 14 school, and your primary task is reading contracts written by other lawyers looking for provisions that match a list given to you by a third-year associate who is doing the same thing for a partner who is billing the client $1,200 per hour for the process. You do it without complaint. Complaining marks you as someone who doesn't understand what junior years are for. You understand. You do the work. You are learning the law by doing its least interesting parts. This is the only way it has ever been learned. Level 5, Senior Associate, Year 6. You're 30. Your base is $390,000. You have billed more than 13,000 hours across 6 years, the equivalent of working every single day for 5.5 years without a weekend. You have a practice area now, M&A. You know the deal process the way surgeons know an appendectomy. Not just the steps, but the texture of each one, where it goes smoothly and where it doesn't, and what to do when it doesn't at 11 p.m. the night before signing. The conversation happens in October. Your supervising partner asks if you have a few minutes. You have been waiting for this conversation for 2 years. In the specific way, you wait for something you cannot control and cannot stop thinking about. The firm is making its partnership decisions. Your name is under consideration. The partner says you are highly regarded. The partner says the committee wants to see more origination, your own client relationships, your own business coming in the door. You are 30. You have billed 2,200 hours per year for 6 years. You have not had time to build the external relationships That origination requires because you were inside the building, billing 2,200 hours. You understand the circularity of this. The partner understands the circularity of this. Neither of you says it out loud. You have 1 year to demonstrate origination. You spend it billing 2,300 hours and attending 4 industry conferences and joining 2 bar association committees and having lunch with every contact you have cultivated across 6 years of transactional work. You bring in 1 client, a mid-sized private equity fund. The first deal closes at $340 million. The partner emails you the same night. The email says, "Well done. You are not yet a partner. You are now the kind of person a partner notices." Level 6. Non-equity partner. The offer is not what you imagine partnership would be. You're 33. Your title is partner. Your compensation is $680,000. You have a nameplate and an office with a door and your name on the firm website under the partnership tab. What you do not have is equity, a share of the firm's profits, a vote in firm governance, or the carried interest that turns equity partners into genuinely wealthy people over a decade of successful practice. Non-equity partnership is the firm's way of retaining associates it values without sharing the economics of ownership with them. You knew this structure existed. Knowing it and receiving it are different experiences. The billing target didn't disappear when you made partner. It shifted. You are now expected to bill 1,800 hours and originate enough new business to justify the gap between your compensation and what an equity partner costs the firm. You are being evaluated on a metric, book of business, that takes years to build while simultaneously being paid a compensation that makes leaving expensive enough that most non-equity partners stay and try to build it. Your student loans are paid off. That happened in year 4 and felt like a finish line and turned out to be a checkpoint. You made partner. Just not the kind that changes everything. That level is one above this one, and the distance between them is not a title. It is a number with 7 figures. Level 7, equity partner. You're 38. It took 17 years from the LSAT prep book to this office. The office has a view. You chose it deliberately, not because the view matters to the work, but because you spent 7 years in offices without windows. And the window is the one thing you decided you were allowed to want without justifying the want. Your draw last year was $2.1 million. Draw is not salary. Draw is your monthly advance against your share of the firm's annual profits, which are distributed at year-end based on your equity percentage, your billing, and your origination. Your book is $8.4 million in annual billings. You know this number the way you know your own address. It is the number that determines everything else. The work at this level is not law, not primarily. You do legal work, you review the documents, you run the negotiation, you sign the opinion letters that your name is now on in the way that means you personally. But the primary job is client management and business development, keeping the $8.4 million where it is, growing it, protecting it from the partner at a competing firm who has been taking your second largest client to dinner 3 times in the last 8 months. You know about the dinners. The client told you. The client told you because the relationship is strong enough that they felt you deserved to know and not strong enough that the dinners have stopped. You have 2 children. They are 11 and 8. Your spouse has restructured their own career twice across 17 years to accommodate the geography and the hours and the specific unpredictability of a life lived around your availability rather than around itself. This has never been stated as a sacrifice. It has been stated as a choice. The distinction between those 2 words is one you return to occasionally in the way you return to cases with unresolved questions. Not obsessively, but with the persistent awareness that something in the analysis is not yet complete. You are a good lawyer. This is not a small thing and should not be said as though it is. The clients who have stayed with you for a decade stay because the work is excellent and the judgment is sound, and there is a specific trust that builds between a client and a counsel across years of significant transactions that cannot be manufactured and cannot be replaced by a lower billing rate. You earned that trust. It is the most durable thing the 17 years built. The associate who joined your team in September is 24. She graduated Order of the Coif. She made law review first round. She asked you in her first week how long it takes to make partner. You told her 7 to 9 years if everything goes well. She nodded the way you nodded when someone told you the same thing at 24, with the specific understanding of someone who has heard the number but cannot yet feel its length. She is billing 2,300 hours. You can see it in when her office light is on when you leave at night, which is late, and still on when she arrives in the morning, which is earlier than you told her she needed to be. You have not told her to stop. You remember being her. You remember the partner whose office you watched and whose hours you matched without being asked. You did not stop either. Right now, somewhere in a library that is open past midnight during exam season, a pre-law junior is taking a timed LSAT section. Logical reasoning. They have taken this section 14 times this month. They're going to take it 3 more times before the real test. Their diagnostic was 158. Their target is 172. The gap is 400 hours of work they have not yet done and are about to do, because the alternative is not doing it, and not doing it means something closes that they are not ready to close. They will get the score, close enough. They will sign the loan documents on a Tuesday afternoon and not read every page. They will sit in the front row of contracts because they've heard that's what the serious students do. They will be cold called on day 3, and their hands will shake, and nobody will see them shake. They will make law review. They will do the write-on if they have to. They will wear the same suit to 12 interviews in 2 days and give prepared answers that don't sound prepared. They will build 2,200 hours for 7 years and originate a book of business and defend it and grow it, and one morning they will sit in an office with a window and realize the window is the one thing they let themselves want. And they got it. And everything else they got along with, it was not exactly what they pictured and was not exactly less. The machine doesn't stop. It just gets new parts. And the new parts, if they last long enough, eventually stop asking how long it takes and start asking what it cost. The answer is the same for everyone. It's the question that arrives at different times.